Hi, welcome to another video from MCI Methods for Shop Methods. Today we're going to be looking at inventory and how inventory is used within Shop Methods to keep track of different parts within your shop. We can set inventory levels, reorder points, create purchase orders, email those purchase orders to vendors, so and so, in order to keep a good handle on what inventory you keep in your shop. So, let's start here. We're going to take a quick look at inventory. Inventory is available from the menu. There's two options under inventory. Main option, there's list inventory, then there's purchase orders. We're going to start with the list inventory. That's going to bring up our inventory listing page. When you first come into this page, it's going to be blank. We don't list all of the parts automatically. We give you an option to search by a name of a part. Also, you can choose a vendor and then search. Because we are in a test system, we don't have too many, so I'm just going to say search, and that's going to render the existing inventory that we have out there. What you see is the part ID, part name, your location. When you create an inventory item, you can maintain a location for that part, the vendor part number next, current cost, current price, the number that you have on hand. That one's negative, but like here we have two. And be aware this is a test system, so some of the numbers might be a little skewed. So you have number on hand. That means how many do you have sitting in that location or in your shop? Allocated. That means how many are allocated to a job that is in process. This is always going to be a negative number. Uh, that means that you are going to be using that number of parts. Like here, we have -1. Then we have available. So basically, your available is your on hand less your allocated gives you available. So let me find a good example. So here, down here at the bottom, we have 10 parts. 3 are allocated. That means we have available 7. Okay? The next column here is our reorder quantity. That means if we're going to go through this list and find ones that are negative, we could order that many. Then we have a reorder checkbox here that corresponds to this reorder button up here. So we will come back to that in a bit. But I just want to give you an overview. That's sort of the home page. So how does inventory works? Okay, so inventory records are separate from the part records. Inventory records are created when you either come on board and during the onboarding process we load inventory records from your existing records. You provide us a data file and we load that, and that's something that the support department here at Shop Methods can handle for you. The other process by which parts are created into inventory is when you create a new part. When you create a new part, either when you're creating an estimate, or if you actually go into their master data and go to parts and create a new part, it will create a new record. So if we go here and create a new part, oh, I'm sorry, I'm typing it in the wrong field. So we type it here. It's part something, quantity of 1, it has a cost of 25. No shipping costs, sale price was skipped, weight 0. We're going to calculate it by a 25% margin. Vendor is, let's see, I think there's Napa. Give it a fictitious part number. Give it a short description. Give it a longer description. Then we save that part. So when we save that part, it's going to do all the calculations. It's going to make that part record available for use in estimates and jobs. One of the other things it's going to do is it's actually going to go to the inventory and create an inventory record. So if we go back to our list inventory, we choose Napa because that's where it was. We search. We have our, right here, new part for inventory. $25 was the current cost. We haven't changed that. $33. So it has on hand 0, allocated 0, available 0. Okay, so we've created it. We can go and use that on estimates and jobs. Another way to add a part to inventory is to add an existing part to inventory. So if we come to this drop-down list, it will give you a big long list of all your different parts. So if we just choose one here, let's choose an engine pad, and we're going to say we have, let's say we've got 5 of them out there. We add that to inventory. Okay, so that was added to inventory. Now, it was actually added with the vendor that may be already associated with that part when you created that part. So if we go, let's get this out of there. So if we just say pad here on our search, we should pull up engine pad. And there it is. And it's the vendor is Worldpac. And we, like I said, we had 5, and we put that in there. So let's go. And so that's how that works. But let me jump into the details here too. So click the number, the part ID, and that will take you into the inventory details. So you can see, you can add a location and bin. You can change and modify the reorder points and reorder quantity, and different things within here. You can also make an adjustment. Say we put that initial quantity in there wrong. Wrong QTY, and we're just going to add another 5 to it, and we can put that in there. So we can do an adjustment so that bumps up our on hand to 10. We can also do an adjustment for damage, broken while moving, and that could be -1. So we broke 1. And then you can even have wastage. So so we may be wastage because it's obsolete, and that's maybe -2. And we can just choose wastage over here. Notice every time we do this, it's adjusting the quantity down here. So we have 7 available, and it keeps track of that. So if we go back to our inventory listing, find our pad, search. So we now have 7, okay? So that's how you can maintain it. So let's actually go and look and actually consume some of this inventory and see what happens. So we're going to go, and we'll just go back to our home page, create a new estimate, pick a customer, pick a vehicle, and we're not gonna pick a standard job. We're just gonna create one. Create that estimate. Okay, so let's just add a quick easy labor, base labor. Give them 2 hours. Save that. So we're getting our estimate put together. So now we can go to parts. So so this is another place where if you add a part through here, it would also create that inventory record just as we did when we added it through master data. So I'm going to go search for, pad was one of them. Engine pad, there it is. Add to estimate. So it's got a quantity of 2. We'll keep that. And let's search for another one. I think it was test something. I believe this may have been it. Okay, so we've got those, and let me just write. I'm going to make a note of these numbers so I make sure we've got the right ones. 485, 2351. Okay, so those have been added to our estimate. So we've got quantity of 2 for the engine pad, and let's just bump this up to 3. Okay. And you can use decimal places too. So if you're dealing with fluids or maybe like leather in bulk or vinyl in bulk or tubing or some kind, you can you can put that in there as well. It can handle that. So let's go to list our inventory. So let's look at our pad first. So it should have, so it doesn't have any allocated, right? Okay, which makes sense. Let's look at our other one. And why do I say it makes sense is, where'd it go? There it goes. New part for inventory. 23. And that one again we just added, and it on quantity of 0. So let's make an adjustment real quick for that. Testing adjustment. Let's give it 5. Save that. And there we go. We got 5. So let's go back to our estimate. Okay, so we've got our parts. Now you may have been wondering when I was looking at that inventory report, where was the inventory, like where was our thing? Why wasn't anything allocated? Because it was on an estimate. What happens is this allocated does not actually get written to or incremented until we submit and approve that estimate to become a job. So let's go ahead and do that. So if we go in here, we submit, who's this going to? It's going to be submit that. So it's submitting that to the customer for approval. We're going to go ahead and do a shop approval. I'm going to approve that. It's sitting there thinking. It is approved. So it's now created our RO or our job 1296. Open that up. And we've got our parts. So if we go back to our inventory, look at our pad, we have -2 because 2 have been allocated, so our availability is 5. And if we go into the details, we will see, okay, so we've got all of our initial, our adjustment, our damage, our wastage, but we also have allocated transactions down here at the bottom. So you see this -2. Well, you may be wondering, okay, well, where's that, what's going on there? So that is actually, you can see the job number item. That's the line item within the job number, job name, what status it is, who the customer is, who the manager is, who the technician is, so you can actually talk to them if you need to, the quantity and the price that's associated with it. Okay. Okay, so that's that. And we can go and look at the other one that we were looking at, inventory. And it's got the -3 that we just put in there. Okay. So let's go ahead and go back to our job. So the question maybe is, okay, we're doing this. When does it actually go from allocated to consuming the on hand? Because remember, look at our hand. Our hand is still on hand is still 5. So it gives us a -2. So anyway, that sorry, something just popped up on the screen. So it gives us availability of 2. Okay, so let's go back to our job and let's complete it. So we got our job, our new job. We go and do our work. We're complete. Okay, so we mark that complete. Let's go back to our inventory. Let's look at our pad. It has been consumed. Because remember, we started off with 7 here. So it's actually 10. So 10 less 1 less 2 less another 2 for our job gives us 5. So we go back over and we look at the inventory one. Search on it. And we are now down to 2. There's our -3. Okay? So that is how you consume from a job and how inventory gets consumed. And so we can also go look at our data, our reports, and those are not going to show up there because we have this negative availability report and negative availability report detail. So if we run this, this is going to show us items that are negative. And we can scroll over here and gives us lots of information. And you can